You see here standing in front of us, and the TISO MVP of the tournament is none other than Miss Caitlin Clark. It's undeniable the impact she's made on women's basketball, and here in Puerto Rico had quite the showing. Her debut with the...
Something happened in Puerto Rico that the history books won't be able to ignore. Everyone watched as the basketball world shifted right under the feet of the veterans. A silent leader returned to the court and forced a massive change in the hierarchy. The hardware is real, but the drama behind the scenes is even more intense than the scoreboard. Since the international stage proved that the offense flows better when it runs through a generational playmaker, should the old guard finally step aside and let the future take over completely? Oh, look at that! Another day, another moment where the basketball establishment has to sit in the corner and think about what it's done. If you were paying attention to what just went down in San Juan, Puerto Rico, you saw something that probably has certain coaches reaching for the extra strength aspirin. We're talking about a complete and total atmospheric shift in USA basketball, and let's just say not everyone is throwing a parade about it.
I'm completely different off the court than I am on the court. Like when I step in between the lines, like I'm there to kind of kill. You just want to go out there and be the best. You want to beat whoever's sitting on the other bench, no matter who it is. And like you look over there and you just want to win so bad.
Caitlin Clark on the move. And here we go, Caitlin Clark. Right on cue. Caitlin Clark tries again. This time it's good. Caitlin Clark, the vision and the execution. How dangerous is Team USA in the open court?
I remember when I was a young girl watching the Olympics or watching the World Cup and dreaming of a moment like this. So obviously getting to make my debut at 24 is pretty fun for myself. But so truly just a really big honor.
You see, nobody really expected it to go down like this. Caitlin Clark walked into that arena carrying more baggage than a transatlantic flight. She was coming off one of the most brutal injury stretches we've seen. Groin strains, bone bruises, ankle issues, you name it. Her body was trying to quit on her during that nightmare 2025 season. She hadn't played a competitive game in 239 days. 239 days. For an elite athlete, that's basically a lifetime of sitting on the couch watching your timing and rhythm turn into rust. The critics were ready. They had their little knives sharpened, waiting for her to look hesitant or protect her body. Even her most loyal fans were sweating a bit. But what the basketball world forgot is that, while everyone else was playing, Caitlin spent 8 months building a furnace inside her during rehab. She didn't fly to Puerto Rico to ease back in. She came to remind every single person in that building, teammates, coaches, and especially the skeptics, exactly who runs the show when she's vertical.
Caitlin Clark is officially the MVP of the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifier tournament that was just held in Puerto Rico. Team USA went undefeated. And it's kind of crazy because Caitlin Clark actually only started one game in this entire tournament, but clearly she had the greatest impact. The coach at times was also playing her in like the 3-4 position, which is so wild. She's a true point guard and literally everyone does better when she is running the point. And she led the team in assists per game with 6.4 per game. And she also led the team in efficiency at a 14.6, which is something that FIBA uses, the WNBA and NBA don't. But essentially, it's a math equation that figures out your efficiency on the court, and she led Team USA. She also led the team in overall points at 58 points, but Clea Copper actually led in points per game at like 12.5 points per game. And Caitlin played around 20-ish minutes in each of these games. And remember, guys, this is Caitlin Clark's senior debut for Team USA because she was not invited to the 2024 Olympics. And actually, in her first ever game for Team USA, she had a double-double with 12 points and 12 assists. But beyond just the numbers, Caitlin Clark changes the entire game the minute that she steps on the court. You can see how other teams change their defense just to make sure that they are guarding her. Like so many teams were switching to a box and one whenever she stepped on the court. Just the gravity that she has when she's on the court, the quickness of the game, the speed gets so much faster when Caitlin Clark is in the game. And honestly, it's a super exciting brand of basketball. I loved watching her play in these Team USA games, even if it wasn't that many minutes. I also loved seeing her and Paige and Angel cook together. But that's it for this Team USA World Qualifier thing that they were doing. They did qualify for the World Cup, and we'll just have to tune in September. Congrats, Caitlin, on the MVP.
Now let's talk about the sideline situation, because this is where the sarcasm really writes itself. Enter Kara Lawson. She took over Team USA in September 2025, and this was her big debut. She walks in with this, "Nothing is given, everything is earned" energy, which is a classic coaching trope that usually means, "I'm going to make the most popular player on earth sit on the bench for a while to show everyone I'm the boss." And that's exactly what happened in Game 1 against Senegal. Lawson rolled out a veteran-heavy starting lineup with Chelsea Gray, Kalia Copper, and Jackie Young. The message was loud and clear. Caitlin, find a seat.
Her debut with the senior team, the double-double with both points and assists. And in her senior debut, she wins the TISO and...
But then, reality hit. Lawson pulled the starters midway through the first quarter and sent in the second unit. Caitlin walks on, and on her very first possession, literally the first time she's touched a ball in a senior national team jersey, she threads a no-look pass to Monique Billings for a layup, then an assist, then a jumper. Suddenly, the rust everyone was worried about looked more like pure, unadulterated polished gold. By the time the final buzzer rang on that 110-46 demolition, Caitlin had 17 points and 12 assists in just 19 minutes. That's the second most assists in the history of the entire tournament, by the way. Lawson had to go to the press conference and publicly admit that the second unit, led by Caitlin, took the team to a completely different level. You could almost hear the internal screaming from the veteran camp. It turns out, when you have a player who can see the future, the system is kind of irrelevant. And the hits just kept coming. Game 2, Game 3, same story. Efficient, quiet, and absolutely lethal with the ball. By Game 4 against New Zealand, Lawson finally did what common sense had been screaming at her to do. She started Caitlin. And what happened? A 101-46 blowout where Caitlin delivered 14 points and 6 assists like she was bored. She was leading the entire roster in assists by a mile. She was outplaying Olympic gold medalists who have been running offenses since before she could drive. The offense just flows differently when she's the one holding the keys. But of course, we can't have nice things without a side of drama. Let's talk about those viral photos of Caitlin looking tense near Stephanie White. The internet went into a full-blown meltdown. People were speculating that something was deeply wrong, suggesting Sue Bird needed to fly in like a basketball UN negotiator to check on the vibes. It's almost funny how terrified people are of any friction. But when you're coming back from an 8-month layoff and trying to fit into a room full of massive egos, things are going to be a little tight. Caitlin actually addressed it, though. She was honest about how different it is from life with the Indiana fever. At home, she is the sun that everything orbits around. On Team USA, she's surrounded by stars who all think they should be the sun. Her willingness to adapt, to play up-tempo, and to just trust the talent around her shows a level of maturity that probably makes the diva narrative look pretty stupid right about now. The coaching staff wasn't treating her like a luxury addition anymore. They were treating her like the foundation. Then came Spain, the final boss. A bigger, meaner, more experienced international squad. Lawson actually had to head back to Duke for NCAA prep, so Nate Tibbetts took over. In a game that actually got tight in the fourth quarter, the rotation shrank down to just 8 players. Guess who was one of them? Caitlin comes off the bench, drops 7 points and 7 assists, and helps gut out an 84-70 win. Perfect 5-0 tournament. When FIBA announced the MVP, it wasn't even a question. Caitlin Clark, 24 years old, named the best player in the tournament. She led the qualifying tournament in assists. She shot 40% from deep. She made everyone else on the court look like they were playing in slow motion. The Indiana Fever's social media team probably broke their fingers trying to post the news fast enough. But here is the part that probably has the old guard sweating through their jerseys. We are in the middle of a massive generational transition. The veterans who carried the flag for a decade are getting older. The question used to be if Caitlin would be part of the future. Now, the question is whether she is the entire future. When the governing body of international basketball posts on Instagram calling you incredible and handing you an MVP trophy before the actual World Cup even starts, the message is sent. The Berlin World Cup is coming up in September, and Team USA is chasing their 12th title. They are the favorites, obviously, but the offensive identity is now firmly running through a player who, just a few months ago, was wondering if her ankle would ever stop hurting. The rest of the world has seen the film. They've seen what she does when she's surrounded by talent. If she did this after 8 months of doing nothing but rehab, imagine what she's going to look like after a full summer of professional games. It's a nightmare scenario for any other country. What makes this so satisfying is that none of it was promised. The body failed her 4 times in one season. The fans were panicking. The doubters were writing her obituary as an elite force. And yet, she walked into San Juan and answered every single question in 5 games. The groin strain? Gone. The bone bruise? Irrelevant. The hesitation? Non-existent. She played like a woman who had been practicing in her sleep, because she probably was. USA basketball has always won through depth and the system. They never needed a superstar savior. But something shifted that week. Every coach, teammate, and even FIBA itself pointed at the same person when the trophy was handed out. When the margin was tight and the pressure was on, the ball was in her hands. And if that doesn't scream captain to the rest of the world, I don't know what does. Kara Lawson might have started the tournament trying to set a tone, but Caitlin Clark ended it by setting the entire agenda for the next decade. Think back to the games where the veterans looked like they were trying to run the offense through a brick wall. Chelsea Gray is great, but the speed of the game has shifted. The game isn't just about sets anymore, it's about gravity. Caitlin's gravity is so immense that even when she's not shooting, she's the most important person on the court. You could see the envy in the way some of the rotations were handled early on. It's hard to be the person who has been the face of the program for 5 years and then watch someone come in after an 8-month vacation and take the MVP trophy. The fact is, Caitlin Clark has a psychological edge that most players can't touch. She's been poked, prodded, and poked again by the media and the establishment, and she just keeps winning. The international refs didn't fall for the unwritten rules of the old guard. They saw a player getting fouled and they blew the whistle. They saw a player making elite plays and they gave her the award. It's a level of objectivity that the domestic league has struggled with for a while. So now we look toward Berlin. The roster is going to be stacked. But for the first time, it feels like the hierarchy has been permanently dented. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. Once you've seen the offense run at that level of efficiency with Caitlin at the helm, going back to the old, slow veteran style feels like a massive step backward. The establishment can try to spin it however they want. They can talk about leadership and experience. But the fans know what they saw in Puerto Rico. They saw the future, and the future wears number 22. The 239 days away didn't break her. They just made her more dangerous. She's rested, she's healthy, and she's got a brand new MVP trophy to remind everyone that she is the undisputed queen of the court. The instant envy is real, but so is the reality. You can't stop a freight train with a whistle. Kara Lawson has a tough job ahead because she's trying to balance a locker room that is clearly divided between the past and the future. But if she's smart, she'll realize that the easiest way to win gold in Berlin is to just get out of the way and let Caitlin do what she does best. The legacy players are going to have to make a choice. They can join the ride and collect their medals, or they can keep trying to protect their turf and watch the game pass them by. Based on what happened in San Juan, the game has already passed them by. The numbers are too big, the talent is too obvious, and the hardware is already in the bag. It's a brand new world, and Caitlin Clark is the one standing at the top of it. The 12th title for Team USA is on the line, and for the first time, the path to that gold medal is being paved by a 24-year-old who doesn't care about your feelings or your tenure. She only cares about the bucket. And in Puerto Rico, she showed everyone that she's never been better at getting them. The noise is only going to get louder as we head into September. Every game will be a referendum on the new Team USA. Every rotation will be analyzed by millions of fans. Every look between a player and a coach will be memed, but none of that matters when the ball tips. Caitlin Clark has proven that she can handle the noise, handle the injuries, and handle the envy. Now, all she has to do is handle the rest of the world. The takeover isn't just a rumor anymore. It's a documented reality, backed by FIBA and proven on the court. The captain label might not be official on the jersey yet, but everyone who watched that tournament knows exactly who was leading that team through the storm. The old guard might be envious, but they better get used to the view from the passenger seat. The hierarchy has been dismantled, and the new era of basketball is officially here. If you enjoyed this breakdown of how the international stage changed everything for the future of the game,